And we are here today with Michelle to share information about what it's like to speak to someone who's intuitive. And Michelle, if you could just share with everybody, what your gifts are so they understand how you get your information.
I am a medium. I communicate with the other side. So I am the voice for those who cannot be heard.
I love it. I'll never get tired of you saying that.
I think I'm getting tired of saying that. I got to come up with something different.
It's magical because, we've talked about this in our world. If this were more commonplace, we all would be better for it. Because really this is just about learning and about doing better yourself so you can be in a better place. This is not about control or manipulation or anything like that, which is, I think, we're very familiar with in this world.
Yes.
It's lovely to be able to spend some time in an environment where it's just pure and it's love, and it's really about who doesn't want to tap into someone that they've lost in this physical world. I've never met anybody that says, no, I have no interest in speaking to someone that's passed. That's a beautiful thing. And the fact that it's not more commonplace, I really find shocking, because the world would be so much more enlightened if we were able to listen to people that have gone to a higher place so we could talk about what we're all doing here.
That's right. That's right. And we're all here to get back to our higher selves. That's why we're here. We're here to reconnect with our higher self, which is another mantra that, I started using as of late, is that I am heaven on earth.
Oh, I like
right.
that.
So therefore, it's just like as above, so below.
Okay.
Right. So what you're doing is you're pulling what is in the fifth dimension down into this 3D world for enlightenment for yourself. So that's my new thing is I am heaven on earth. And it helps me through my day. It helps keep the negativity out of my head. Yeah. When I get a negative thought, I say that over and over until that thought flees.
Okay.
So it's more of a comfort for me.
Yes.
To keep me vibrating at where I need to be. I was in a very, a low vibrational energy for quite some time.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to go back there.
No.
I'm just going to keep lifting myself up and keep vibrating where I need to vibrate to, help other people get through their 3D experience.
And so for you, for someone who has a gift of intuition and who's able to hear, to see, to smell, to share that information, for anyone that's listening, if they're new to this or if they've wondered about it, what kind of guidance can you give them as far as what to look for, what to listen to? Like, how would they get on the path if they really want to search, but they just don't even know? They've not been in an environment where it's been encouraged to know anything about this.
Mm-hmm. I would say, well, you can go online. Everything is so accessible now.
Yeah.
All spiritual awakenings. How to connect in a higher dimension. What is the 5D all about? Mm-hmm. People don't even understand what the fifth dimension is.
Let's talk about it. I don't think it is shared enough. Let's talk about it.
The fifth dimension is where you want to be. that is the dimension of love. That is where our ancestors go. That is heaven. The fifth dimension, the higher dimensional you go, the more enlightened beings are. And for those who think that we are the only game in town, you are sadly mistaken. Yes. There are so many evolved beings that are greater than we are. I think we're pretty low on the totem pole. Okay.
I feel like that. Yeah.
Yes. Intuitively, I know that to be truth because I have experienced that, the seventh and eighth and ninth dimensional experience. I've touched it, I've witnessed it, and it is the most amazing experience. So I know it exists, and I know that I don't want to vibrate in this 3D. I want to vibrate on the fifth dimensional. And I want to explain something to you, Melinda, because I don't know if maybe you've had this experience, but
Okay.
when you go to sleep at night, okay, this is an opportunity for your soul to travel. So this is where you're connecting with the fifth dimension. Okay, your soul goes there and it reunites and it collaborates and it meets other energies. And when you're ready to awaken back in this three-dimensional, have you ever experienced a lag of you trying to wake yourself up, but you can't wake yourself up? You know that you want to wake up, but you just can't wake up. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah.
That is because your soul is transitioning from the fifth dimension to the third dimension, and it has to be done slowly. It has to descend. Okay. So that's why you have that awkward feeling that you can't wake up and you're forcing yourself, because your soul hasn't connected with the body yet.
Okay.
So that's how you know that you are experiencing the 5D.
I love that. I've read a lot about astral projections, and and for anybody that's listening, it's easy to look up, but can you explain to people, again, I wish this was common knowledge because it's, again, just so beautiful, what astral projection is about?
Astral projection is that you have the capability to go anywhere in this universe that you want to go.
Yeah.
That is astral projection. I have astral projected in people's beds. I have, I have astral projected to Africa. Nice. I have, and through my readings, I astral project constantly.
I bet.
So, we all are very capable of it. We all have experienced it. It's just that you don't remember.
Yeah.
You don't remember. You may have fragments of it.
Yes.
But you can't put it together.
Okay.
So the more that you do it, the better you become, the more aware you become.
Okay.
So you can be more distinct on where you want to go and what you want to receive and what you want to connect or who you want to connect to.
Okay.
I do a lot of my connecting and healing in the 5D.
Okay. That sounds nice.
Yeah. It's coming back. That's the shitty part.
I was going to say, how does that feel? Because, that's definitely emotionally and physically got to be a difficult transition, right? If you know the potential, I would think it would be very difficult to come back here.
It is. When it's hard to open your eyes after being in the 5D, you know that you've been in the 5D.
Yeah.
Because your soul, that's home. Yeah. That's where you're most comfortable, you're most at peace. And then to open your eye, it's no different than a baby. Okay. And a lot of people don't understand this. When a baby's born and they cry.
Yeah.
Okay. That is their soul.
Oh.
Coming into the 3D. And it's painful as hell.
Okay.
So that's why that is the baby. That is the soul entering in this physical body.
Okay.
It's a jolt.
Wow.
What do you do when you slam your hand in a car door? You scream, you cry. That is the spiritual body entering this physical body.
Wow.
It's painful. It's painful.
I would think so. I remember when my daughter Alex was born, it was so interesting because as soon as she was born, they put her on my chest and she just looked right at me. And it was so jarring because she seemed very aware, right? Very aware. And she told me as a child, and she's told me as an adult, that her first thought was, I didn't really want to be here.
Exactly.
I was like, what?
Yep.
I don't want to be here.
My Jason, he would tell me that all the time. I don't belong here. I don't belong here, Mom. I don't belong here. Yeah. So They, you
You
know.
know. And I want
Mhm.
to encourage anybody, if anyone, if they've had that experience with someone, please allow them to speak their truth to that so you can all be better for it.
Absolutely.
Fortunately for me, as a mom, of course, you have a lot of feelings, but when she told me that, I wasn't hurt. Like, why don't you want to be with me? I was so intrigued. Tell me, tell me more.
What? Yeah. Yeah.
Why? And she's had incredible stories along the way about how she knew as a small child, she said, I knew this world was bullshit.
Yeah. Yes.
I knew
Yes.
she was very so smart and so aware of the pretentiousness of a lot of things. And
Hmm.
she's just been an incredible, human. And she's told me a lot of her dreams have reminded her where past
She
life
came from.
and
Yes.
where she's
Hmm.
come from. So I would encourage anybody, if you have a child or anybody that feels free enough to open with you, please encourage that. And
And listen to them because they'll teach you something.
they'll teach you so much. Yeah,
Hmm. For
absolutely.
sure. For sure. They're
Yeah.
not tainted.
So if someone is hearing about astral projection for the first time, is there any kind of encouragement you can give to them as far as, would you need to know more before, like if someone says, well, can I just go to bed at night and say, okay, before I wake up, I want to go to XYZ? Is it as simple as that? Or is there a process to learning how to free your spirit, your soul that way?
It is a process.
Yeah.
It is a process. And, we all do it organically.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But if you want to learn the practice, then you have to educate yourself because you could end up in a dark place.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So you have to educate yourself. Totally be, when you go to bed at night, you always ask for protection, because God only knows where you're going to travel.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Like nightmares. Jesus, like
Yes.
those are eye openers. Those that is the 5D waking you up to bring your attention to something that you're not paying attention to.
Okay.
So everything is meaning, everything is symbolic, everything connects to everything.
Yes. Yes, it does. That's so important.
Mm-hmm. It's like the web of a spider. It is. We are all weaved together. We are all entwined. We are all tethered together in this universe.
Yes. And that speaks to what we're seeing today with the pandemic and with the environment and with the situation with the police and people getting killed right and left, is that there's no us and them.
Right. There is no us and them.
Ever. There never has been, there never will be.
No.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But humans ego puts that division. They nothing is separate.
Yes.
Nothing is separate.
Yeah.
Nothing is separate from you.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
And I think that is a problem.
Yeah.
And when you get stuck in the 3D thinking, that's what happens. You feel that you're separate from everything else. You feel alone, you feel depressed, so you're not connected to anything in the 5D. So nothing is separate. We are all one. We are all one. We're all going back to the same place. We're all here for a spiritual journey. We're all here to experience a life to give us a better life.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it, but I do want to bring this book up. I showed you earlier, but I want people to see it because it does exist.
Yeah.
And this is such an intriguing book, honest to God, Melinda. Okay. Like I said, if you stop researching, then there's what are you doing?
Right.
Right.
So
just keep feeding that soul of yours.
It makes sense because, Michelle, in this world, we have to go to school to learn things. If we have a
Mhm.
job, we're continuously learning. Why haven't we put any of those resources towards learning about ourselves? Why aren't we doing that? It's almost seen as woo woo, like, oh, you meditate, that's woo woo. Oh, you
Mhm.
believe in spirits on the other side. It's only to better yourself, to learn. Why wouldn't we want to learn about ourselves if we want to learn about math?
Mhm. Times are changing, Melinda.
I feel it.
It's the tables are turning.
I
The
feel it.
spirituality is going to be more important than anything else. It's going to take time. We're not going to say it's going to happen tomorrow,
Yeah.
but we are on as a collective. That is our journey right now. It is to overcome this darkness that we're living in and shed light back into this universe, back into this 3D world that we're living in, is to bring the light back.
Yeah.
It's our job as spiritual beings to do that.
I like that. What better job is there?
There is not a better job.
That sounds amazing to me. I've definitely noticed, from the era that I grew up, a lot of things that were taken for granted, now there's a big light on them. And it's just so fascinating to see the younger people pointing things out as an atrocity, where I was like, I can't believe how blinded I was. I assumed a lot of things, like if adults were telling me things, I never questioned. Like, here's a small thing. I grew up in an era where if a child misbehaved, they were treated like they were less than, and they were spanked and they were punished. And there was a lot of like commanding presence over the little ones. And it was accepted. It was never questioned. You saw people spanking kids in public and no one said, that's abusive. That doesn't work. That's not going to bring light to anybody by you hitting. But it was accepted. And thankfully, as I had children, it didn't feel right to me. So it wasn't a problem for me to feel like corporal punishment was the answer.
Right.
But I remember, I know my dad loved me, but if I got in trouble, I had to pick out a belt and he would spank me. I had to lean on the bed, and that was normal. And when I think about it now, I'm like, that's crazy.
I know. Could you imagine? Like,
no,
I couldn't imagine slapping my kid with a belt. Now, mind you, my kids, I can tell you on one hand that my kids have had in Italian, we say paragulo.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to. I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, I have 3 kids. I probably smacked them maybe once.
Yeah.
And but no, that is not a way to and I know that people like, spare the rod,
yes,
spare however they say that, spare the rod and
oil
destroy the child.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't agree.
I know, but isn't it interesting how at least I've seen us grow in some areas. So it's very exciting to see, with sexual assault and things, a lot of things that were just accepted that are so inappropriate, that now you're seeing, men and women standing up saying absolutely not. And during my era, for some reason, we didn't have a voice. We didn't feel like we had a voice, and things happen. So it's been interesting to see. So to know that we're heading towards enlightenment, and that it's up to us as individuals to learn ourselves so we can help raise that vibration. I find that thrilling.
Yes, that it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It truly is. And it starts with you, and then it seeps out. It seeps out to the next person and the next person and the next person, so you're standing as a witness for yourself, that this is what the power of love and light is. This is what it can bring into your life.
Yes.
If there's a book that I love, The Game of Life and How to Play It.
Okay.
And she talks about all aspects of how your words change your world. And when I first started in metaphysics, I was completely like, no way, this can't be real.
Yeah.
And I will share a story with you. So I was doing my mantras, and I was changing the floors in my house. Okay. And I didn't have any money.
Yep.
So I thought, okay, well, you said if, I put it out there that I will, have this money.
Yeah.
So I went to Home Depot. I picked out a floor that I loved. Excuse me. And I went home, and I'm like, I'm not going to worry about how I'm going to pay for this, because it's going to come to me. The next day, went to my mailbox. Nothing was in it. Mailman comes up to my door, and I had a sign for a package.
Okay.
And on the package, which I was studying the Bodhi Shiva at the time. Okay. On the package, the address said Bodhi Angel, and then it gave me this address. And I'm thinking, I didn't order anything. I'm calling my mom, did you order something? Yeah. Meanwhile, my son Jay is like, Mom, just open the package. What's in the package? So I opened the package, and it was a manila envelope, and I opened it up, and there was a letter in it, typed letter, and then there was an envelope. So I'm reading the letter, and it had all these mantras on it that I was saying. Okay.
Yes.
My Jay is like, Mom, open the envelope. What's in the envelope? So I opened the envelope, and there was 6 $100 bills in this envelope that paid for my floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I called everybody I knew.
Yep.
To find out if they sent it to me.
Yes.
And they're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
So of course, I was giving thanks. Like, I'm sorry that I didn't trust this process.
Yeah.
So I sent a letter to the address to give thanks. It came back to me, no such address.
Of course it did. Yeah.
And I still have the envelope, and I carry that letter with me in my purse. And it has been over 20 some odd years.
Yes. I truly believe, and I've had experiences like you're talking about, where you don't have to know where it comes from. You just have to believe in the process of it.
That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as I learned more, as I grew more, I've had many moments in my life where I was struggling financially, couldn't even buy food. And once I started trusting the process, little miracles, a friend would come by and say, do you need some groceries? Just like,
yes, yes.
It really does just start with you. It really does just start with understanding that there's abundance in the world. When I have these conversations with other people, and they'll say to me, well, but where does it come from? And I said, no, that's not your problem.
It's not. Just tap into the universe.
I feel like I'm a living example of that with the choices I've made in my life when I've been told, no, oh, don't do that. You're too old. And I've not listened to them, and I've listened to me, and I've succeeded in ways I could not have fathomed.
Right.
Because I believed in the abundance, and I believed in the light. And I know a lot of people that have questions say, well, I want to be rich. It's not about that. It's not about that. Right. Your wealth will come. Yes. If you walk the journey, your wealth will come. It will come. It will come in ways that you couldn't even imagine. You can't. And it's no different in relationships. Everybody wants to predict how their relationship is going to go and how it's going to unfold. Yes.
I gave up on that because I was just disappointing myself left and right. Putting expectations, and I know better not to put expectations on anything because expectation leads to disappointment.
Yes.
You can say, I expect the unexpected.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Under grace in a perfect way.
Yes.
But to put it out there and expect that somebody is going to respond to you in the way that you think, or is going to come to you in a way that you think, you'll be waiting all your life.
Yes.
So, don't wait.
Don't wait. I love what you're saying because it's a simple process and it is easy to do once you open yourself up to it. I think
Mhm.
that seems to be the thing because when I've tried to explain my experiences along the way, I've had so many magical, and I know I use the word magical because it feels like
It
magic,
is magical. It is magic.
feels magical
Hmm.
when I explain how time and time again, I don't know where the abundance comes from, but I just accept it and I'm grateful. And I share my abundance because it's very important to me that we all participate in this,
Pay
right?
it back. Hmm.
It's not just about me climbing on someone's back and being better or higher than someone. It's about us all lifting
Elevating each other. Hmm.
and the minute you open yourself up to that, if you can let go of it doesn't make sense, where is it coming from?
Hmm.
That's the flip.
Hmm.
That's the change. Because if can you imagine, Michelle, if you would have spent all your energy on like, I must figure this out. I need to know all the joy of where that came from would have diminished because it would have become
Absolutely.
this earthly thing about make this make sense to me.
It becomes an ego thing.
Ego.
It becomes an ego thing. It
Yes.
has to come to me this way, or I'm not accepting it.
Yes.
Then it's not truth.
Yes.
It has to.
Yes.
That's the ego. And that's what causes the problems. That's what holds back your abundance.
Yes.
So, poo poo on that ego.
It's so true, Michelle. It's so
Mhm.
true. And it's possible to succeed in this world in a way you could not have imagined because our minds in this world, until we open up to it, can't fathom what the potential is. And I
That
didn't
is,
know that until I started opening up to it because I thought I knew what would feel fancy or good or the job I
mhm.
wanted to have. And it just kept getting better and better because I kept saying, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
And
yes. Gratitude.
it's everything. So for anybody listening to this, if you're feeling like you're in a funk and you're feeling like I want to be rich, please understand that's not what we're saying here.
Mhm.
This isn't about that. This
No,
is about opening up to all potential, to all light, to participate in bettering yourself so your environment becomes better. It's not about XYZ. Well, I want this house. I want this amount of money. Imagine that you want a lovely house and let it come to you because I promise
that's
you the
right.
house that you didn't imagine is better than the one you did.
Then that you did imagine. Yes, yes. And it's funny because I do that because I am looking for a house. So
Okay.
I have like I have like certain things
Yeah.
that I would love to have in my house.
Yes.
And so I just put that out to the universe.
Yes.
If I see something in a magazine, like the door that I love
Yeah.
is it's a um, what is it called? I can't think of the name. Anyway, so it's a specific door that I love. Craftsman. It's a craftsman door.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I say to the universe, that's the door that I would like, or the yard, this is the
Yes.
yard that I would like. I just put it out there.
Yes.
You know what's best for me.
Yes.
And so I sit back. Now I'm sitting back.
Yeah.
I did what I needed to do to get this process going. Now I just have to sit back and wait for the universe to drop that house in front of me.
Yes. And it really is as simple as that. I can attest to it. It's as simple as that. I mean, if we all could tap into the potential and the light and keep learning, because it's not about, I want this house good. Now I'm done. That's not what this is. For
Right.
anybody listening, it's about learning about yourself, tapping into the unknown so you can figure out why you're here
Right.
and you can learn your lessons. I mean, I can't think of anything more important than figuring out who you are. And it took me almost my entire lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. Me too, Melinda. That, and figuring out who you are
Yes.
is a very scary process.
Yes.
Because everything you thought you were,
yes,
you are not.
That's right.
And that's where the dark night of the soul comes in. That is shedding old beliefs and old behaviors and old mindsets that no longer serve you anymore.
Right.
Walking a spiritual journey is not easy.
Right.
It's not. It's discipline.
Yeah.
You have to be disciplined.
Yes.
You know, you have to work for it. It's
Yeah.
not going to God, Goddess and God are not going to go, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
You're a special one.
Right.
You don't have to work at it.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
Right.
With anything in life.
Anything. Yeah.
Anything. You have to set your intent and stay in that intent and do whatever you need to do to make that manifest,
Yes. And we've talked about this, Michelle, that the more you learn, the more that's expected of you.
That's right.
You don't just sit back and rest. And I've had these conversations with my niece about, oh, I recognize what this is because I just learned this and now this is coming at me. It wouldn't have come my way had I not learned this. So now, okay, next lesson, next step.
Yes. You bounce from the 3D to the 5D. You keep going back and forth. And the goal is to vibrate on that 5D level while you're in this 3D world. And then things just seem to flow. You're in the nature of the flow. And that is the most wonderful feeling. It is the most peaceful, tranquil feeling. When you are in flow, you
do know. And when you're not, it hits you so hard.
It sure does, girl.
So differently. And that's why Michelle and I are doing this. We felt called to share what Michelle is about and about learning about yourselves. My gift is interviewing and talking and asking the questions, and Michelle's is being intuitive and being a medium. And so I feel very fortunate that we're able to come together because this is really about sharing to lift other people up, to teach people, to give them the ability to have something to tap into, because when we grew up, it was not readily available to us to learn or even be encouraged in any way to focus on that light.
That's right. There's one important thing that I feel like Spirit is just tapping me on the shoulder right now. Like, say it, Michelle. For whatever reason, whoever needs to hear this, the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
People who don't speak truth, don't want to see truth, get stuck.
Yes.
The truth will set you free. And I can attest to that. If you have secrets, or if you're hiding things in the shadows of your life,
yes,
the truth is the only thing that is going to release you from that bondage. Yeah. You're holding yourself in bondage by lying to yourself or lying to the people who you love.
Yeah.
The truth will set you free. And I am witness to that. I have lived it over and over and over, okay. I shared it. So I'm just like, all right, okay, stop. I got it. So yes, Spirit wants you to hear very loudly, whoever needs to hear this, the truth will set you free. And by you speaking your truth, you're going to change that is your first step in your awakening.
Yes. I love
period.
I love that. And it's already, I'm telling you, Michelle, if I didn't have a timer, I wouldn't believe it. We've already gone past 30 minutes again. But it's magical and lovely. And I'm glad to end it on that note. I think it's very important in the world that we live in today. Our world seems to teach us to hide behind things or to try to pretend you're someone you're not. It does you no good. If you really want to learn who you are, be honest with yourself. And as someone who's 60 years old now, I can attest to the fact that I spent a lot of years in darkness, a lot of years hiding things because I was ashamed of myself. I didn't know who I was. The moment I started figuring out who I was,
it changed everything.
The lightness, the world got shinier and brighter and more beautiful, and people were brought into my world that I was ready to receive.
That's right. And when you're not in the flow of the universe, you are going to attract dark energies.
Yes.
And they will come to you saying they are the light and they're
Yes.
going to change your world and they'll promise you everything. But I guarantee you,
Yeah.
that is a lie. Okay. It is a lie. It's not the truth.
Yeah.
So if you are not vibrating in the light,
Yep.
then you are going to attract those dark energies.
Right.
I am a witness to that.
Yeah.
You know, I've attracted some very dark people in my life, very dark people.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to war with these people spiritually. And I will tell you, the good overcomes evil every single time.
Every time. And it's quite easy once you are aware of it. It's quite easy. And then the more you learn, the brighter it gets. So take whatever step, never accept lies, never accept fallacies. If someone feels wrong, they're wrong. Trust yourself.
That's right. Don't let somebody sit there and tell you that you're not seeing something that you're actually seeing.
Yeah.
Because people do that. They manipulate your perception. Perspective. They manipulate you into believing what they're, no. Go in here. This is where you'll know the truth.
Yes.
Speak your truth, you will receive truth. You lie to people, you are going to be lied to. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
So be good to yourself, so other people will be good to you.
That's so, what a great way to wrap this. That's everything what you said right there, Michelle. And if you're listening to this and you think it sounds simple, it's because it is. You can do that. Start with yourself. Be good to yourself.
Yep.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. Remember, like, subscribe, share this with your friends. That will help us continue to do this. If you have any questions, reach out to us. I have Michelle's information on all of our segments. You can reach out to her as well. But just remember, it starts with you. Just start letting that light in, and don't lie to yourself, because you're going to get lied to by other people, and nobody wins in that instance.
That's right. That's right. Love yourself. It's so important.
I like that. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to wrap now. So yeah, love yourself, everybody. Let's try
Love yourself, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to do this the